My name is Alicia, and in this week's live lesson, we are going to talk about how to use could and should. I'm going to talk about 3 ways that we use these words in today's lesson. We're going to talk about suggestions and advice. We are going to talk about how to express regret, and we are also going to talk about possibility. So I hope that everyone gets some good practice with these modal verbs. There are lots and lots of questions every week about how to use these. So I hope that this is a useful lesson for lots of people. So as you join, please make sure to hit the like button and share this video so that other people can find today's lesson. That would be super cool. Okay, as we wait, a couple of quick announcements. Oh, I lost my promo banner. Just a second. If you check the link below the video, if you're watching on YouTube, or above the video, if you're watching on Facebook, you will find a 55% off deal that the team has put together. You can check that out if you click the link below the video or above the video. For some reason, there's some kind of error, so I can't show you guys the banner for some strange reason. I'm not sure. But if you check the link in the description, you will be able to see that. So check it out. It is 55% off. So definitely take a look at that if you think that you want to study with us. That is announcement number 1. Announcement number 2 is if you have questions for me, if you have questions about grammar, about vocabulary, about culture, whatever, even just a small thing that you think of one day, try sending it to me for our weekly question and answer series. It is called Ask Alicia, and there is a link for it in the YouTube description. You can find that and send me your questions whenever they pop up into your head. So send them to me. The link is englishclass101.com/ask-Alicia. So check that out if you want to send me a question. Also, if you want to find me on social media, this is where you can find me. So check that out too. Okay, so now that we are through our announcements, I think that everything is looking okay. Facebook, are you here? I'm looking for you, Facebook. YouTube, I think, is running okay. YouTube, hi everybody on YouTube. Welcome everybody. Hello Ilham and Rendell and Nahora and Francie, Catalina. Hello everybody. Welcome on YouTube. Facebook, yes, it looks like Facebook is also here. Hi everybody. Rasha and Hoa and Badir. Hi everybody. Everybody's here, it looks like. That's super cool. Okay, so let's get to our lesson flow. Also, if you haven't, please make sure to hit the like button and share this video too. So I'm going to do that now. Like and share, and we are going to look at today's lesson topics. Okay, so let's go to today's lesson boards. If you want to take a screenshot, you can do that now. Here are today's lesson boards. So today we are going to talk about how to use should and could. We're going to focus just on these. I'm not going to cover using the others today. So we're just going to talk about these 2. We'll talk about suggestions and advice, and possibility and regret. So I hope that we can cover a lot of things today. Okay? All right. So let's get started with the first part of today's lesson. Let's get into suggestions and advice. Okay, I can't see today. It's really hard to see. Okay, so let's get into today's first topic, which is how to give suggestions, to give and receive suggestions, to give and receive advice. So first, let's take a look at this grammar pattern. So the first pattern I want to talk about is how we give recommendations to other people. So subject could or subject should is the base pattern. To make it negative, we include a not here before our infinitive verb. And then we have our sentence. So let's talk about the differences, okay? So let's talk about the difference between could and should in this kind of pattern. So the could use here, could is used to show that the suggestion or the advice is possible. So that means it's just like a neutral comment, a neutral idea, yeah? So this is something that we just want to say we can do this thing, or it's possible to do this thing, okay? So this is a question sometimes that people have about the difference between could and should. Like, does this mean high chance of something or what? So please note that this means that there is just a neutral possibility, okay? So that is point number one. Point number two is about should. Should. So when we use should, it means that the suggestion or the advice is some kind of recommendation, yeah? So it's like I'm sharing my opinion is kind of the idea, yeah? So it's like saying, I think that you should do this. I'm giving you my personal advice, okay? So this is the difference between these two. And when we use this not form, we make it negative. So let's take a look at some examples. And if you send me your examples, we can try to check things live in the chat. So let's take a quick look at the first one. So first one, simple pattern. You should study every day. You should study every day. So as I talked about before, this use of should expresses the speaker's opinion, right? It expresses that we think that this is true or that this is a good idea, okay? So this is the feeling with this kind of thing. Should and could are both completely correct in this sentence. So could in this position is also 100% correct, but it's just giving like a suggestion in terms of something that is possible. When we say should, it's saying this thing is my personal recommendation, not just possibility, okay? Let's look at the next one. We should leave soon. We should leave soon. Okay, so this one, again, is a personal recommendation, yeah? So with this one, we're again expressing the speaker's feeling, the speaker's idea here. So we should leave soon. We should leave soon. This is my personal opinion. Again, we could leave soon is also possible, but this communicates a different idea. We could leave soon. We could leave soon. That simply reports, it's simply a report of something, yeah? Okay, so this is the difference between could and should. Some more examples. Let's look at a negative. He should not speak at the meeting. He should not speak at the meeting. So here's a negative. So this behavior is not recommended. That's what this is saying. This behavior is not recommended. So I don't think this is a good behavior. He should not speak at the meeting. Okay? Another one. They could arrive at any moment. Okay? So now we're using could here. So in this situation, we're saying that this is something that is possible to do. So we're saying it's possible for them to arrive at any moment. We don't know for sure when they're going to arrive, but we just want to express that it is possible to do that. Okay? Good. All right, so the next one then. This next one is a conversation, okay? So we're looking at this conversation. We could go out for dinner. So someone is making a suggestion here. This thing is possible, right? We could go out for dinner. And the person that responds to this says, it's really cold outside. We could not go out for dinner. Let's stay home and watch a movie instead. So I wanted to use this one, I wanted to use this specific example because it's kind of something that you see a lot in movies, like media, TV shows, and so on. This is something that you sometimes hear when characters are making plans, like, hey, we could do this, like in person A's text, we could do this, but then person B says, we could not. We could not do that. It's like a kind of funny, friendly way to say, oh, well, why don't we do something else instead? I like my other idea instead, okay? So this is how we can express this, and you'll probably see this used in like media and TV shows and stuff like that, okay? All right, so this is how we use could and should, okay? So I'm looking to the chat for your questions. I'm very busy today. My chat, where's my chat? Okay, well, let's see. Some examples are coming in. We should pay more attention. Good. Rendell says, can I say you shouldn't do this? Yes, definitely. Okay. We should study more, say some people. Good, good, good. Can we use could in the present? That's what this is. We could do this. That's examples here. We're talking about recommendations and advice here and now. Okay? So this is what we use to talk about like our future ideas for like a moment from now. Okay? Other questions? Other examples? Some of you are already sending some past examples too. We're going to talk about that later. Okay? Rosette says, I could arrive at 9 o'clock. So again, that's a good example. It just expresses some possibility. Right? Okay, cool. So this is our first part for today. Okay? How to use should and could for suggestions and advice. All right, so great. That was part one. Someone says, is it British English? No, I am not a British English speaker. I am an American English speaker. This is American English. All right, so let's take one super quick break and then we will get to part two. So if you missed it earlier, we have fixed the banner. There is a 55% off sale from the link below the video if you're watching on YouTube and above the video if you're watching on Facebook. So if you want to study with us, lots of you send me questions about how to use like the website, how to like get the lessons and stuff like that. If you want to check that out, get all of the details from the link that's below the video if you're watching on YouTube or above the video if you're watching on Facebook. Definitely check this out. You will find a page. If you click that link, you will find, I'm going to show you in a second, you will find this page right here. You'll find this page that explains all of the different details of the different plans that we have. So if you want to study with us, check this out and see if there is some kind of plan that matches what you are looking for. Okay, cool. So let's go to part two now. Okay, part two for today's lesson. If you haven't, please, 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 please make sure to hit the like button and share this video so other people can find today's lesson. Okay, let's get to part two. Part two is about possibility. Possibility. This one is maybe the trickiest one, the one where I see maybe the most mistakes, maybe. So let's work hard. Let's work hard on this one. So I've called part two the possibility section, but I want to focus on this pattern, this use of should and could with the be verb. So in part one, we talked about using could to express possibility, like for advice and suggestions. So we also have that. But I want to focus on this be verb use in part two here. Okay, so let's practice using the be verb. The be verb. So when we make this pattern, we have subject plus should in the negative, not, and then be, and then the information after. Okay, then we have subject could not be. So subject should be or subject could be. So what is the difference here? When we use should in this pattern, we express some kind of expectation, yeah? So there's some kind of feeling that we expect something is true or not true in this case, okay? And then, on the other hand, when we use could, we express neutral possibility in the positive or impossibility in the negative. Something could not be, which means it is definitely not possible for it to be true. Okay, I'm looking for your questions. Okay, all right, so let's take a look at how we use these. Let's look at some examples and break them down. Okay, so first one, this is my favorite example to use with this grammar point is, my phone's GPS says this is the correct address, so we should be in the right place. We should be in the right place. So this is something that you use when you are looking for a location. You're on your phone, checking the map for some location, and you're looking around, like trying to find it. And this is the sentence we use. You think you're correct. You expect you're correct. You're checking your phone, like, So this expresses you think that you're correct. We say, we should be in the right place. Like, this should be the right place, okay? So we're expressing an expectation there. This choice of should shows that expectation. Again, in this sentence, we can use could. We could be in the right place. That simply expresses it's possible. Should expresses expectation. I expect we are in the correct place. What about might? Yeah, we can also use might in this position as well. So we might be in the right place. Might has a lower level of possibility, or lower level of expectation. It's the difference. I usually say this in other lessons where I talk about all of these together. But when we use should, there's like a higher level. So for example, should expresses like 80% certainty. Might is like 50 to 60. It's a bit less. That's the feeling here. Yeah, so we might be in the right place. Okay. Others, okay, I don't see other questions. Okay, some people are saying, Wilmer writes, today could be rain. Today could be rainy. Today could be rainy. Okay, so when you follow, when you finish your sentence, like I left it, this is open because there are many different ways we can end this sentence. But if you want to have one quick guide you can use, follow this be with an adjective. Yeah, it could be rainy. Yeah, okay. All right, let's continue to the next example. Here is a negative. You shouldn't, so shouldn't is should not reduced. You shouldn't be in the office today. It's your day off. You shouldn't be in the office today. It's your day off. So what does this mean? This means I expect my coworker should not. There is no reason. So I am pretty sure, I'm pretty certain there's no reason for you to be here today. Why? It's your day off. So that's why I would say you shouldn't be in the office today. Yeah? In this situation, couldn't makes no sense. You couldn't be in the office today. That doesn't make any sense. Could not expresses something is impossible. So we cannot use both in this situation. Okay? Other questions. Rosa Romero says, I could be in my work. Maybe I could be at work. I could be at work. Also, consider, if you are saying I could be about your current position, it sounds weird, right? Why are you making a guess about your current position? Like if I said now, I could be at the supermarket. Like, I'm not at the supermarket, right? It sounds a little strange. So maybe if you want to make a joke, you could make a guess about your current position. Yeah? Okay. So think about that, right? Think about what you want to communicate. All right, on to the next one. The next pair, or the next one uses could. So here's an example, a natural example of could be, okay? So he's not answering his phone. He's not answering his phone. He's not picking up his phone. He could be speaking to a client. He could be speaking to a client. So this expresses it's possible. It's possible he's speaking to a client right now. That's the reason he didn't pick up the phone, right? So in this case, he's not answering his phone. He should be speaking to a client. Sounds kind of weird. We're expecting he should. These two don't really match if we use should. This one introduces a question like, he's not answering his phone. I wonder why. And then we have this idea. This is possible. Oh, he could be speaking to a client. That might be the reason. That's the feeling of this kind of sentence. Okay? Juancho says, I could be playing soccer. Yes, you could be. Maybe I could be playing soccer right now instead of doing this task that I don't want to do, for example. Okay, I want to mention maybe there are some examples that are coming in that use the infinitive verb here. So for example, like I could be eat or I could be sleep. Use the ing form of if you want to use a verb, use the ing form here. So like, I could be eating lunch right now, for example. or I could be taking a vacation right now. So if you want to use a verb here, use the ing form. Yeah? Maybe that would be a good guide here. Okay. Alrighty, let's go to the next one. Which is right? Shouldn't or shouldn't? Oh, the apostrophe. It's the one with the apostrophe right here. Yeah, I put it in the wrong spot. I was changing colors and I moved my apostrophe over one. But yes, it should be right here. It should be right here. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next example then. The next example is a conversation. So imagine you see someone when you are out in public, like you see your coworker at a shopping mall, for example. Okay, you say, "Hey, is that our coworker? Is that our coworker?" And then second person says, "No, that couldn't be her. She's working today." "No, that couldn't be her. She's working today." So that means it's not possible. No, that's not possible. It's not possible that that's her. She's working today. Okay? So we use this couldn't to express something is not possible. That couldn't be her. It is not possible for that to be her because she's working today. I know this. So we use these two to show that something is possible or impossible. A condition or a temporary action is possible or impossible. Okay, cool. All right, so here is how we use this grammar point, these grammar points, for possibility. Possibility. Okay, so awesome. Let's take one more quick break and then we will go to the last part, expressing regrets. Expressing regrets. So we'll use the past tense forms here, okay? So if you missed it earlier, there is a 55% off sale from the link below the video if you're watching on YouTube or above the video if you're watching on Facebook. So if you click the link, you will find this page. You will find this, which has all of the details, all of the differences about the different study plans that we have on our website. So have a look at this. I will scroll down so you can see more. You can take a look and choose the one that you think is the most interesting or the best match for your needs, for your interests. So have a look if you want to study with us. Okay? Cool. So with that said, let's go to the final part of today's lesson. Part 3 is the focus of part 3 is on regret. Regret. So let's talk about how we use these points to express regret. What is regret? Regret is a sad feeling about the past. Something we did incorrectly, like a mistake we made, or something we did not do, and we feel bad about it, or we feel sad about it. How do we express that? We use these two words. We also use would sometimes too. Let's focus on these for today, okay? So how do we use these for regret? We use this pattern. Subject, should or could, have, past participle verb. Should have, past participle verb. To make it negative, we put not before have. So I should not have verb. He could not have verb. Okay? So we use these patterns to express regrets. Things that happened and things that didn't happen. So if you want more practice, today's lesson will be a kind of quick, a short introduction to this grammar point. If you want to practice this more, I have many videos on the channel about this. I will link them in the YouTube description after this lesson too. So if you want some homework or some review, check it out, okay? So let's break this down. Should, let's look at should. When we use should in this pattern, again, we're expressing some recommendation, like this is my opinion. Oh, I should have done this, or oh, I shouldn't have done that. It's like your personal opinion, your personal feeling about something, your recommendation for yourself or for another person, okay? When we use could, we express something was possible or impossible. So he could have done something means that was possible in the past. Or he couldn't have done something means that thing was impossible. Impossible. Okay, so let's take a look at some example sentences to practice this point. This one can be kind of tricky, okay? First one, very, very common one. I should have studied for the test. I should have studied for the test. This means I didn't study. I didn't study. Now I feel bad about it. So I should have studied for the test. Some common mistakes I see with this grammar point. I should studied or I should have study. So no, we can't use study here. I should have studied, past participle, yeah? I should have studied for the test. Why? Why didn't I study? Right? I should have studied for the test. Oh, that was a mistake. I failed it, right? Or I didn't get a very good grade, okay? All right. Another one. You should have apologized to her. You should have apologized to her. So you're giving a recommendation to someone else after an argument or a fight or a big problem, whatever. You should have apologized to her. That was rude or something. So this means this is a past situation. The other person did not apologize. Oh no. So we're saying you should have. You should have. That was a mistake. You should have apologized to her. Maybe you can. Like you could apologize to her tomorrow. So you can follow up with those present tense ones that we practiced in part 1 too. Oh, you're sending lots of examples. Gia says, I shouldn't have hurt his feelings. Very nice. Some others from this part. I should have gone to the doctor, says Miguel. Good. Okay. Sani says, I shouldn't have let the opportunity went away. I shouldn't have let the opportunity go. We use that expression, to let something go. Yeah? We don't change that go to went. To let something go. To let an opportunity go. So just make that one change and it's perfect. Okay? Rosa says, we should not have eaten cake and cookies. Very good. Eric says, I should have listened to you. Good. Leonard says, oh, there's so many chats. Okay, I shouldn't have done that, maybe, not than that. I shouldn't have done that, or I could have done or been better. Very nice. Everybody's doing a great job here. Okay. I don't see questions about this section, so I'm going to continue on. There's so many ads on Facebook. I can't see your questions. Okay, let's go to the next example sentence then. The next one is a negative. Someone sent this earlier in the chat, I think. We shouldn't have eaten junk food. We shouldn't have eaten junk food. So this one, should not, is the negative. And have eaten. So not we shouldn't have eat or we shouldn't have ate. We shouldn't have eaten junk food. We shouldn't have eaten junk food. This means I did eat junk food. I ate a lot of junk food and now I feel bad. Now I don't feel very good. So we express that with this. Oh, we shouldn't have eaten junk food. Keep in mind that when we use these, especially when we're not feeling good, the sentence becomes very kind of mushy. So what do I mean? When we say this sentence, for example, when we feel sick, we don't speak very clearly. We don't say, oh, we shouldn't have eaten junk food. It sounds like, oh, shouldn't have eaten junk food. It sounds really kind of smushed together. Shouldn't have eaten. So this have sounds like a in native speech. Shouldna, shouldna. That's what this pronunciation is like. Okay? Shouldna. Shoulda in the positive. You should have apologized to her. You should have apologized to her. I should have studied for the test. So this have sounds like just shoulda, shoulda. Okay? Also, a native speaker mistake with this grammar point. Some native speakers write of instead of have because of this pronunciation point. When we speak, it sounds like should of, shoulda, or should have. That's incorrect. Native speakers incorrectly write of here a lot. It's not right. Don't do that. Should have is correct. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Oh my gosh, I'm already late. Okay, let's talk about some could examples really quick. Okay, I could have helped you with your work. I could have helped you with your work. So for example, if you know your coworker is super busy, you can help them, right? But if you don't know your coworker is super busy, you can't help them, right? You don't know that they need help. So if you want to express like, why didn't you tell me? I could have helped you with your work. a past tense situation, you can use this. So, could have helped you means it was possible for me to help you in the past. So, we would not use should here. I should have helped you with your work would be if maybe you rejected someone. Like they said, please help me, and you said no. And you think, oh, I should have helped you. So could have, again, expresses that possibility. Okay, let's go to the last two. Time's running out. She could have sent a message to tell us about the problem. She could have sent a message to tell us about the problem. So that means she did not send us a message to tell us about the problem. Like, why? She could have sent a message. Why didn't she? That's strange. So we're expressing a mistake in the past. She could have sent a message to explain the problem, but she didn't, right? So we often use this grammar point to talk about these past problems, past mistakes. Okay. Osushi says, you don't make the V sound when you pronounce shouldn't have naturally. It depends a little bit on the sentence and on the person. So sometimes we say, I should have studied for the test. Some people might say, you should have, maybe. It just depends on how fast we're speaking. Often, though, we just say shoulda. Should have studied for the test. Should have is also possible, too. There are a couple of different ways that we make this sound. Okay? Can you please repeat about the ing form after B? That was in part 2, so I don't have time to go back to part 2. You can watch this video again, though, because it is being recorded. Okay, let's go to the last part. Some examples on Facebook are coming in. One says, I could have repaired the car myself. Nice. Okay, so that sounds like there was a problem with the way your car was repaired. Nice. Okay. Solomon says, I could have bought the car. Good. So I didn't buy the car. Okay. Mahfood says, you should have tried it on before purchasing it. Perfect. Very nice. Very nice. Good one for shopping. You should have tried it on before purchasing it, or you should have tried it on before buying it. Purchasing sounds a little more formal. Yeah, we use buy more. Okay, Ahmed says, I should not have missed your lessons. Oh, did you miss my lesson? That's okay. Okay, let's go to the last point. We could not have prevented this mistake. It was simple human error. Simple human error. We could not have prevented this mistake. What does prevent mean? To prevent something means to stop something from happening, to stop something before it happens. Yeah? So we could not have prevented this mistake. It was impossible to prevent this mistake. It was simple human error. That means the cause was simple human error. Just one person made a small human mistake. So we could not have prevented this. It just happens sometimes. So we express this with the negative. We could not have prevented this. Okay? All right, so that is our final point for today. Woo, we had a lot. I'm very late. I have to stop. So if you missed it, I will put up the lesson boards for today so you can take a screenshot. All right, so here are today's lesson boards if you're ready. Ba-dum. So we talked about how to use should and could for suggestions and advice, for possibility, and for regret. As I said, I've made a lot of videos about this topic, including would and might and so on also. So after the live stream, I will put some links in the YouTube description if you want to practice these grammar points with some other videos I made. Okay, so check that out shortly after the stream ends. Next week's lesson information we have to finish for this week. Next week, I'll be back, of course. Next week, I'll be back December 8th. That is Wednesday, December 8th at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is New York City time. If you don't know your local time, please Google it or find a notification. Set a notification on YouTube or on Facebook, or if you follow me on Instagram, I always share a topic reminder in my stories and a link. So check that out. You can follow me on Instagram to get that too. Next week, I'm going to talk about how to talk about your wishes and desires. The holiday season is coming up, so how do you express what you want? How to talk about your wishes. That will be next week's topic. It should be fun, I think. Okay, so please join me again next week for that. Okay, I have to say goodbye for this week's lesson, so please make sure if you want to get the sale the team has put together check this out from the link below the video or above the video on YouTube and Facebook, and find all of the details there. Okay, so I will wrap up there for today. Thank you very, very much for all of your awesome example sentences and questions, and thank you so much for liking and sharing the video. That was super, super cool. So I will say goodbye now until next time. So have a great day, have a great evening, have a good weekend, and I will see you again next